This is simply unbelievable. In order to provide affordable and practical learning supplies for children in Pakistan, this recycling station in Pakistan uses cheap recycled discarded oil drums to transform and produce lightweight durable small blackboards. To turn these low-cost recycled discarded oil drums into small blackboards, the first step is to dismantle the oil drums. The workers will use scissors to cut off the end caps on both sides of the oil drum along the edges. This gives them the middle more regular sheet of metal. Next they cut along the seam of the metal sheet. This way a complete sheet of metal is dismantled. Since the metal sheet still has a certain curvature, the workers will use a homemade punching rod to forcefully flatten it. This stack of metal sheets is then processed into a roughly flat state. However, this metal sheet still has a lot of paint on it, so the workers place it in a paint removal tank, using an efficient paint remover solvent to quickly strip the paint from the surface of the metal sheet. This process causes the solvent to react violently with the paint, generating a large amount of harmful and pungent gas. The workers will stir the metal sheets to speed up the dissolution of the paint. Once most of the paint has been removed, the sheets are taken out and placed in the corner of the wall. The workers then carefully clean the surface with a cloth, and lay the metal sheets out on the roadside to dry. After the sheets are dry, they are placed into a longitudinal cutting machine, where a longitudinal cutting wheel will trim them to the appropriate width. Since the oil drum metal sheets have uneven patterns on them, the workers will also place them in a roller press, using the strong pressure of the rollers to flatten the metal sheet. Next, the workers will use a guillotine and a positioning stopper to quickly cut the sheets to the appropriate length. Once the sheets are cut, the workers transfer them to the stamping station, where stamping molds are used to press the metal sheets into a shape similar to a dinner plate to enhance their structural stability. Next, scissors are used to cut off the excess parts along the edges of the metal sheet to form the approximate shape of the small blackboard. Since the edges of the metal sheets are very sharp, the workers place the sheets into a flanging machine, where flanging wheels quickly bend and roll the edges. To ensure the small blackboard is safer to use, the workers then carefully arrange the metal sheets in a homemade heating furnace. After sealing the furnace, they ignite a gas stick to heat the metal sheets to a high temperature. This process removes any impurities attached to the surface. After a long period of heating, the workers take the metal sheets out and carefully clean each piece. Then they transfer the sheets to the spray painting room. Although the spray painting room is relatively simple, the painters here work with high efficiency. Once both sides of the metal sheet are coated with paint, the sheets are placed back into the heating furnace to be baked at high temperature. This allows the paint to quickly cure. To make the small blackboards more attractive and durable, the workers also dip the edges of the boards into paint to evenly coat the edges with paint. To prevent the paint from spilling onto the blackboard area, the sheets need to be placed on a stand, and after the two sides are completely dry, they dip the other two sides into paint. Finally, after the workers move them outdoors, and after 2.5 days of complete drying, this highly cost-effective small blackboard is finished, allowing children in Pakistan to better study theoretical knowledge and create their own beautiful lives in the future.